answering your questions video today. I got my phone with them lined up. I'm gonna hop right into it because this will probably be kind of a long vid. I may end up breaking it up into two parts. I don't know yet. I'll figure that out as I film this. Alright, I've got two kind of ones. Top 5 gaming console ones from Robert Cologne and Chance Presley, both as top 5 consoles. Robert also said the GameCube. I think he was subscribed to my other channel too, my gaming channel, where I had a bunch of these videos where I was like in battle with the GameCube. It's kind of funny actually. I enjoyed making those vids. But they all both ask top 5 gaming consoles. It can kind of change, but I would say that Super Nintendo and Genesis are both. They're fighting for 1 and 2. I'd probably put the Super Nintendo at 1 and the Genesis at 2. The next 3 are a little tougher. I do enjoy the GameCube. I'd probably put the original Xbox. The original Xbox is in 5, but it's not. Yeah, I'd put the original Xbox at 3. I love the original Xbox. Like the PS2 had more games on it, for sure, and a shit ton more exclusives, but I had a lot of good gaming memories with the original Xbox. I really liked that one. Yeah, put that at 3. Probably the N64 at number 4. And maybe even the PS2 at 5. I mean, I like the newer consoles, like 360 and stuff. I mean, like, more recent consoles. The PS3s, Xbox Ones. I was gonna have a PS4. I'd probably put the PS2 at 5. Yeah, I'd probably go Super Nintendo, Genesis, original Xbox, Nintendo 64, and PlayStation 2. Because I love the PlayStation 2 as well. And I started to like it more as time went on, actually. That, of course, could change. I mean, the 360 could be in there as well. 360 was awesome. I had a lot of memories of that, too. It'd probably be a fight for number 5 between the 360 and the PS2. But for sure, the Genesis and the Super Nintendo were definitely the top 2. Because that 16-bit era was like I was a younger kid. I think I got a Nintendo when I was 7. I was in 2nd grade. I think 87 I got it. So I was either 7 or 8. I don't know when I got it. I can't remember the exact day. But I really started to get like heavily. I mean, I had a lot of Nintendo games. I did have a Master System briefly, an Atari 7800, but the Genesis, Super Nintendo, and even the TurboGrafx 16 for that matter is when I started to like really get heavily into it. And I love the Super Nintendo. Genesis, well, I still do to this day. But those are the top 5 for sure. And like I said, the original Xbox, a ton of gaming memories. And 64 as well, I had a ton of memories with. And the PS2 is awesome. So, I mean, you could argue the PS2 is the greatest system of all time. But thanks for your questions, guys. The question. Maxwell Clouds asks, Do you believe in any conspiracies? If so, what are some you believe in? I'm not huge on the conspiracy tip. I am like I guess if I was going to go that route, it'd be like the alien type stuff, which they seemingly are releasing more and more stuff of these days, the CIA and the government and Pentagon and stuff. A lot of that stuff, I don't delve into the hard conspiracies. I believe a lot of conspiracies is just money driven. So at the end of the day, I would just say the conspiracy is they just want money and they're willing to do whatever they can and try to make you believe whatever they can to get more money out of people. But there's never, I mean, I can entertain them, sure, and some I'll be like, everybody has their JFK conspiracies and stuff like that. And obviously conspiracies are big these days too in general. Some, in my opinion, are ridiculous. And then some I'm like, yeah, I can believe that. I don't dismiss a lot of conspiracies, but some are just so ridiculous where I'm like, they'll say the government, I won't go into details, but the government's going to try to pull this shit. I'm like, the government can't pull shit off to begin with, and they're going to come up with this grand fucking scheme of doing this. It ain't going to be the government that's doing it. It's going to be the people pulling the government strings, or the super elite rich. They're going to try to pull some shit. But I'm not an overly conspiracy-driven person. But like I said, I'll entertain some for sure. Or unless you went to alien stuff, but I don't even know if aliens are a big conspiracy anymore, to be honest with you. That was like the big conspiracy for years, and now it's kind of just like whatever. But thank you for your question, Maxwell. Matt Aldridge asks, favorite 80s movies? There's definitely a bunch that I truly do like a lot. Like the original Ghostbusters is fucking awesome. The original Ghostbusters is just so cool because the way it's set up is that they catch the ghost, they're putting them in like the prison, their fucking containment unit. And I'm like, if ghosts were everywhere and going around, you would actually have to find a way to imprison them if they were ghosts doing fucked up shit, right? I always thought that was kind of cool, but that movie in general is just a great movie. I'm actually going to see Ghostbusters Afterlife tomorrow. So I'm hoping that's pretty decent. It looks alright. Ghostbusters Goonies, of course, is a classic. Totally rewatchable multiple times. What else is in there? Back to the Future, the original, is classic as hell, too. Love that movie. I guess technically, yes, Empire Strikes Back is 1980, so I would put that up there. I love that movie. Return of the Jedi is good, too, but I like Empire Strikes Back more. The Monster Squad. The Monster Squad definitely came out in the 80s, right? It was like 87 or 88. Monster Squad's awesome, and not a lot of people talk about the Monster Squad. It's such a good movie. It's like, it starts off with like, these people like transporting a coffin in a plane, and it crashes, and it's being Dracula. And these kids in the town, all of a sudden, like, holy shit, they see like Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, the mummy, the Wolfman. And they're like, nobody believes him, and they're like trying to fight him and stuff. These friends end up getting all their gear ready and stuff. It's a really good movie. I would check it out if you haven't. There's a ton of horror movies too I'd put in there as well. Like Friday the 13th 6. There's a ton of movies from the 80s I like. The Burbs is hilarious. It's a Tom Hanks movie that doesn't get the love it should, because it's a good kind of horror comedy. What else came out in the 80s that I really liked? There's a ton I'd have to remember. Like Goonies for sure, back to a lot of the typical movies, except maybe like the Monster Squad. A lot of people's favorite, and the Burbs too as well. The Burbs was 89, right? Maybe 88. Yeah, but those ones for sure. Those were all good movies. There's a ton of 80s movies that I like. Maybe I'll do a ramble on 80s movies and go more in depth than that. But I thank you, Matt, for the question. Definitely everybody check out Monster Squad, though. Joe P. asks if I've ever played Terraria or Stardew Valley. Terraria, no. I played a small amount of Stardew Valley, I believe. That's like the farming type game, right? I want to say I played a little bit of that at some point. It might have been on Game Pass. I was always interested in it. I'm pretty sure that's the game, right? But I've never played Terraria, although I've seen the game. I don't even know what it's about, but I've seen it. That might be on Game Pass too, but only a little bit of Stardew Valley, and it was a small amount. I'm pretty sure it was Stardew Valley. That is a farming game, right? But asks favorite superhero of all time. And honestly, probably ends up being Batman, just because Batman's just a regular dude with money and is intelligent, and he has the best villains, Batman, and they're all just psychopaths. They're like not super powered. Some of them kind of have some powers, but like the Joker and the Riddler and shit, Scarecrow, Penguin, they're all just like kind of regular psychos. It's probably bad. Like, I really like Wolverine's cool. A lot of the X-Men I do like Gambit, Wolverine, Cyclops. In general, if you want to say as a whole, the X-Men I would put as like my favorite kind of, definitely on the Marvel side. That's like my favorite shit. I love the Marvel stuff. I love the X-Men cartoon back in the early 90s. I had some X-Men comics as well, but I just always like the characters. And even the bad guys like Magneto and Apocalypse is fucking awesome. And even like the future people like Cable and Bishop and those guys. And then you have Strife and Omega Red. What's it, Omega Red? And Deadpool's kind of part of that too. And you have Colossus. And there's so many of them too. There's so many of them. Juggernaut's a good villain. Mystique. Pyro, right? Pyro's the bad guy. Man's the good guy. There's a ton. I had a lot of those figures too when I was younger. Rogue isn't, I guess as a whole, if I was putting it as like a huge group, it would be the X-Men. As a single one, it's probably just Batman, and almost more so for the villains, which is kind of funny. Because I don't have a Head and Shoulders one in the X-Men that I like more than other ones. Here comes the cat now. But being overall probably Batman, because it's kind of just, I don't know, he's like a regular dude. I mean, he's not a regular dude, but, the most realistic kind of, But thank you, Brett, for the question. Like I said, I will pronounce some of these names wrong, as I have in the past when I do these. Here's what I'll probably write. Cat quiet. It's always something, right? Now this one is Kluivs. Clovis. Shh. I apologize for screeching. What's your all-time favorite game? It's still Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 is awesome because the story is so good, and for survival horror, for me personally, cat, please be quiet. She'll start to piss me off. Like, I'll start to get angry. I don't want to like it. Silent Hill 2 is just still, in my opinion, the best video game story of all time. It's a great survival horror game. Controls kind of suck, but that was kind of the point back then. You were always using regular people in those games. It was just so creepy, especially for its time. And even though I played a bunch of the HD version, still is creepy. Pyramid Head is fucking classic. The story and the fact that this is like everything manifesting from, James Sunderland's head and stuff, and you find out why that is and stuff, and why he's in Silent Hill, and the other characters that appear in Silent Hill for their own reasons. It's just really so well done, and it's creepy, and for its time, graphically, it looked great. Just Silent Hill 2 is fucking awesome. Like, I just love that game, and I still do. Nothing's overtaken that yet. Because I love survival horror, and when you get a great story in a video game, it doesn't happen a shit ton. It happens more now, but even back then, it didn't happen as much. And Silent Hill 2 is fucking awesome. That'll probably still be my pick forever, but you never know. Thank you for the question. Gavin Robinson asks, see, these aren't in order. I was kind of hoping they'd be more in order, but whatever, because I want to kind of answer them in order, but it doesn't matter. Gavin Robinson asks, do you like crime stories / documentaries? I like some crime stuff. I like the crime kind of. We watched a documentary, actually. It's it's somewhat crime related. It was about remember those clown sightings they had? Maybe it was like 4 or 5 years ago. Those clowns were popping everywhere, and people were freaking out. That was kind of interesting. And I saw another one just about this guy. I forget what it was called. It was a guy who dressed as a clown in Florida. This was like right before that started to happen. That was good. I kind of like him. There's one on the Night Stalker that I want to watch. I think it's on Hulu. I think he's called the Night Stalker. But I can get into those things. I watch some of the stuff on like those channels, like ID and whatever, that everybody jokes about, and memes and stuff. Those are kind of cool. But I watched a cool one called Cropsey too. This documentary about this place on Staten Island. And Cropsey was like kind of a thing people made, like an urban legend type thing. Urban legend type documentaries are kind of cool as well. I like that kind of stuff for sure. But yeah, I do like them. Documentaries in general, I kind of dig, depending on what it's about. If it's about like crime stuff or serial killers, it's kind of interesting. And just like urban legends and stuff, like myths and stuff, is kind of interesting as well. So that kind of stuff, for sure. But thank you for your question. I want to... This is going to be asked, I think, more than once, but I can't find the other one right now. But William Johnson asked, when are you and your fiance going to get married? And have you ever watched The Blackwell Ghost on Amazon Prime? I have not watched that. I want to say I might have come across it while looking through Amazon Prime, but I will check it out. And we don't know when we're getting married yet. Honestly, we've been engaged for a little while now, but maybe when we move out of state, if that ends up still happening, maybe. But I don't know. We might stick with engaged. Who knows? We're comfortable kind of where we're at right now, so I don't know. You get that question a lot, actually, in real life as well, and through YouTube is real life as well, but from people, that I know as well. But, and I definitely will check out The Blackwell Ghost. I do have Prime at the moment, so I will check that out. Hopefully it's good. I assume it's about some kind of ghost stuff, and I enjoy that kind of shit, so I would definitely check it out. But thank you for your questions. ASMR with Bex asks, what video character would you like to be, or what video game you'd like to be in if you could be? It'd probably have to be Leon S. Kennedy, good old Leon S. Kennedy, and I am kind of playing as him in virtual reality, RE4. That's probably the kind of game I'd want to be into. Would be some kind of survival horror game, even though I'd be bugging out. Probably Leon S. Kennedy for sure. I like that character. Maybe even Pyramid Head, but that pyramid the pyramid he has on his head would be quite uncomfortable, I would think. I'm trying to think of other characters. Arthur Morgan was really cool from Red Dead 2, but he doesn't have a great fate, so maybe cut that part out. Trying to think of some other ones. Maybe even Wesker. I like Wesker from Resident Evil 2. He's such a dick. Got a fresh piece of gum here. Yeah, so top pick would be Leon S. Kennedy. And a game would be a survival horror game. It'd probably be like Silent Hill 2 or any kind of Silent Hill game. Or like a Fatal Frame game or something. Oh, it would suck though, but it would be pretty cool. But yeah, definitely Leon S. Can't go wrong. Good old Leon S. Kennedy. But Thank you for the question. John 22 Hickey asks, what do you do for work? Have you always been in that occupation industry? What other jobs have you held? Right now I work at a screen printing shop. I've done that for a bit now, and I've done it at other places briefly as well in the past. I do my used to stuff. I've done eBay for a while. First job I ever had was a bagel shop when I believe I was 16. I worked at Toys R Us very briefly. What else? I tutored as well, too. I forgot about that. I just remember that. I tutored some psychology for a bit as well. I had periods too where obviously the anxiety got in the way. The position I'm in now is really nice. It's perfect for someone like me. But I've worked at other screen printing places as well. Over the years, for brief kind of periods. I said my anxiety and stuff caused me to kind of like when eBay came along, it was such like a godsend because I was able to make money through that and shit. But yeah, that's where I'm at now, and those are some of the other jobs. I might be missing one or two. But thank you for your question. Spencer Timothy asks, what kind of music do you like? Favorite bands / albums? I like anything classic, alternative, rap, metal, rock and roll, industrial, all types of shit. I listen to a lot of video game soundtracks. Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 10-2, Persona 4, all types of video game albums. Favorite bands are like Ministry, Helmet, Faith No More. Buckethead's awesome. Iron Maiden I liked for a while. I don't like him as much now. Not that I don't still like him, but I feel like they've been releasing like the same album since Brave New World. Metallica, Megadeth. Buckethead's great. Primus is awesome. Mr. Bungle. Alice in Chains, a lot of that like 90s kind of alternative grunge I was into, like Soundgarden and shit. Stone Temple Pilots. I've been listening to a lot of Doors recently. Me and my friends back in high school, we listened to a lot of Doors as well, but I didn't appreciate the Doors the way I do now. I listen to a lot of Zepp and shit. Pink Floyd as well, which is great. And Tom Petty as well. But the Doors are really fucking good. I knew they were good back then, but I got more into them later on. Albums is like Angel Dust by Faith No More is awesome. Sailing the Seas of Cheese by Primus is awesome. Helmet, Betty, and In the Meantime are fucking awesome. A lot of Faith No More shit's awesome. I love Faith No More. Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time is awesome. That's one of my favorites. Megadeth, Rust in Peace is fucking amazing. So is Cryptic Writings, actually. A lot of people shit on Cryptic Writings. I like that album. What else? Power Slave by Iron Maiden as well. Killers by Iron Maiden also is awesome. That's before they got Bruce Dickinson. Those are definitely all awesome albums. Ministry, Land of Rape and Honey is awesome. So is Psalm 69 and Filth Pig. I really fucking like. Nine Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine's sick. Soundgarden, Super Unknown's really fucking awesome. Some albums I can think of. Blood Sugar Sex Magic by the Red Hot Chili Peppers is really good. Somewhere in Time's definitely in my top 5. Alice in Chains, Dirt. Actually, I like Facelift a little more than Dirt. Helmet, Betty, and In the Meantime are definitely up there. I love those two fucking albums. 311 is really good too. But yeah, that is some of my favorite band's albums, and like I said, I like all types of music. I like some stuff by Lady Gaga too, and whoever, as long as it sounds good or I like the sounds in it, I don't really care. When I was younger, I was more like those, music like my shit's awesome, your shit sucks, and then I get older, I'm like, I like everything. But thank you for your question. Froggy, FPS, Jesus, I'm like really fucking up with this shit. FPS asks, got any sports teams you like? Any college teams? Cowboys and Baylor killed me last week. I assume that might have been when Denver beat the Cowboys. I have sports teams I like, but I'm not super into sports as much as I used to, except hockey. So it's the Islanders and hockey, Broncos and basketball, Broncos and football, Trailblazers and basketball, and Yankees and baseball, though I've lost complete interest in the Yankees to the point where I'd rather see them lose, because I don't want to sound like a dick, but a lot of Yankee fans, and this goes for a lot of fan bases, but a lot of Yankee fans are obnoxious as fuck, talking about their 27 world titles as if they were alive for more than 5 of them. College teams, I was never super into. I follow some college stuff like football and basketball. I always enjoyed the NCAA tournament, but I never had a favorite college team. I always liked the brackets in the NCAA basketball tournament for whatever reason. I like that structure. It's so great when it's even bigger. And sometimes I pay attention to the college football playoff now, and even the national championship game further back when it was just 2 teams. But now it's 4? They'll do the playoff, or if they extend it, I don't know. But yeah, it's really the Islanders I focus on now. They actually have opening night tonight. Their brand new fucking arena that looks amazing. They are slumping a bit though, so hopefully they break out of it. They started the 13-game road trip because the arena wasn't finished. But yeah, that's some of the teams I like. And thank you for the question. Oh, he must have asked a question before this guy. I'll just call him. He just says it's best to call him JJ, so I will call him JJ. He's got a few questions. You see, here's where repeated. When do you plan to get married? Same thing as I said before. I don't know yet. We might just stay engaged. We might get married when we move elsewhere. Don't know yet. Oh, he also says I'm getting better and better, and I can't wait for me to reach 10,000 subs. I hope that happens at some point. I don't know if it will, but it'd be nice if it did. Second question is, do you plan to move from that apartment in the near future? Perhaps to Florida? Yeah, probably 2 or 3 more years in this apartment, maybe 4, depends, who knows. Like to get to Florida or somewhere else. That's cheaper than Long Island, but maybe Florida, maybe one of the Carolinas, who the hell knows, Virginia, I don't know. But we'll still be here for 4 more years at least, I'd say. Who knows? Things could change over that span of time as well. Third question is, do you have a steady job, and what is it? So based on the other one, I work at a screen printing shop, and it's pretty steady right now, and will probably continue to be while I'm here, still on Long Island, so for sure. Are you planning to get a PS4 and in the... Oh wait, no, sorry. I'll get to that after. That's not a question. Are you planning to get a PS4? I'd still like to get a PS4 at some point when they go. I was hoping that the PS5 was out, even though it's impossible to get that in the Xbox Series X. The PS4 drop in price because I picked one up. My friend actually mentioned, speaking of PS4s, he said I could borrow his PS4 if I want to play Uncharted and shit, so I might do that and pick up a couple of games. He said, hey, if you want to borrow it for a month, because he doesn't really use it. I may end up doing that to play some of those games for sure. Actually, I might do that soon. I'm thinking about it, I'm like, fuck. God of War, I could pick up a lot of those games cheap. That Ratchet & Clank, God of War, Uncharted 4, which he owns, and some other ones as well, but I might probably end up borrowing. I might buy one if it goes cheap, or if I find one at a garage sale for cheap. But thank you for the questions, and he says in the end, it would be great if I did a word search at least 2 or 3 times a month. I actually am going to probably up the word search to 2 a month at least. If I feel like throwing out 3, if I'm putting up a ton of vids in a month, I might pop a 3rd, but I'm definitely going to definitely start doing a second one. Like I need to get into the word search book. Because I might do ones from the hockey one and then do one from the regular one as well. But I'm definitely going to up it to 2 starting in December. Or maybe even this month, honestly. And thank you for the questions. And Zero Anime Fan asks, there's a lot of shows and films I wonder if you've seen, but if I had to pick one at the moment, did you see, or want to see Disney Pixar's Luca? I've not seen Luca. I've heard of it. I'm not super into the Pixar stuff. A lot of their stuff looks really cool. But I'm pretty sure I've not seen that movie. I'm trying to... Is that the one with the souls? Like, he's a soul or something involving souls. Is that Luca? Or is that a different one? I don't know. But no, I have not seen that. But, you know, I will check it out probably now. And I can do a video on it. Or, you know, if I'm talking about movies, I can talk about it for sure. Thank you for the question. Like I said, I watched a lot of the older Disney movies when they were just the cartoons and not kind of the CG stuff. So that's kind of like my era of the Disney stuff. Although I'm always impressed with the work they're doing with DreamWorks and the Pixar shit as well. Thank you for the question. Okay, random person asks, what U.S. state do you want to visit the most? How about country? Do you have any advice for someone about to finish high school? Okay, so first thing, what U.S. state do you want to visit the most? Louisiana, maybe, because I always wanted to go to New Orleans. So that was almost like a specific city I'd like to go to. I'm trying to think. Even like a Maine would be cool. And like an Idaho or a Montana, like in there in the country where it's not populated, would be cool. Probably Louisiana, just because I would love to go to New Orleans. May end up still going at some point, but you know, Colorado as well actually would be kind of cool. I'm a Broncos fan. Denver would be kind of cool, and some other places. It looks like a cool state from what I've seen of it. Yeah, so maybe Colorado actually. Colorado, Louisiana, top 2. How about country? I would say I'd love to go to Japan, but I think the culture shock might be too much for me. Although I've heard from people who've been there that said there's, you know, a lot of English spoken and stuff, and it's not as hard as you'd think to go there and kind of enjoy stuff. Just because the video game scene, I don't know. There's something about that country I love. I don't know. Probably Japan. We might end up. I don't know how the COVID shit's gonna go in the future, but maybe like 2 years, we still want to kind of maybe go to like an England, Ireland, Scotland type thing. That's a lot of my ancestry is from Ireland and England and maybe Scotland. I know Ireland, England for sure, and Germany, but definitely like to get over there. But Japan would be like the top one. But I mean, there's plenty of places over in Europe I'd love to go. Actually, I'm sorry. You just said country, but Europe in general, there's so many places, and there's places all over the fucking world I'd love to go. I was thinking you said Europe at first, that's why I was like, wait, Japan is not in Europe. But yeah, Japan first, and then like England, just because, you know, my ancestors came from like Germany, Ireland, England, so I'd like to check those places out. And I think Scotland as well, but I said I don't know for sure. And the third one, do you have any advice for someone about to finish high school? Honestly, I don't. See, for me, I took a year away from going to... I went to Nassau Community College for a little bit, but I took a year away from that. I'd say maybe do that, but a lot of people's parents are probably like, no, you're going right to college or work or whatever. I don't really know for advice, honestly. When I was a wreck mentally when I graduated college. So it's part of the reason I just didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to kind of keep to myself. myself. But I would just say, I guess, go to a college you want. And I guess advice in terms of that, things are going to change drastically. I didn't go to a college away, and I didn't go to much college, so I can't comment on that, obviously. But although things change a ton, but they also don't change as much as you think until you kind of get to your mid-20s, I feel. But I mean, I guess, kind of understand or realize that, it's going to get weird. And I'm looking at it more from my perspective because I was leaving kind of the safety of what I was in the alternative program in high school into going into stuff. And I didn't, I still was a mess, anxiety. I can go on and on about that shit, maybe another video, but, just kind of be open-minded and kind of be ready for anything, honestly. And shit's going to change constantly, probably. I mean, as with for anybody. Because once you're at high school, is like that structure. I think when you're at high school, maybe college has a structure as well. But then after college, and even if you don't go to college, the structure's different. Unless you get like a full-time job or something like it, things could constantly be changing. So I'd be prepared for anything and keep an open mind. I guess is the best I can say. It's not the best advice, but and thank you for your questions. How many do I have here left? I think these are all of them. I'm going to have to hit the newest first just in case after I finish these. But if I do forget any, if I missed any that were on here, please let me know. And I will answer them in like a ramble. Okay, where was it? The Quiet Kitchen asks, what are your thoughts on the GTA Trilogy HD versions? That's the first question. I was kind of interested in just getting them just for Vice City, because I'd love to play Vice City again. I love Vice City. It's my favorite GTA, but I've been hearing a lot of bad things about them. Like, technically, they run like shit. I mean, I watched a video on them, and they ran fine. They looked a little weird, but they ran fine. I mean, I understand why they're doing it, I guess. I would love to just see full remakes of Vice City in general, but I don't really have much of a thought on it because I haven't picked it up. If I can buy Vice City itself, which you might be able to do maybe through download, I would get that one. But I still have only played a small amount of San Andreas. I think that's actually free on Game Pass, the HD version, so maybe they do have them split for download. But other than that, other than what I've been hearing, and I think even Rockstar apologized in terms of the PC version, I think is even worse. I don't know. Not much else I can say about that. And their second question was, what has been your favorite Shady Season 2 video? The funny thing is, I forget a lot of them. I will admit that Soul Collector video, I enjoyed the shit out of, and I can't wait to do the next one of those. I enjoyed that one. I did do one. God, I should have looked in my the playlist. I actually really liked the Soul Collector one. I kind of liked the way I was doing it with how there was other people doing stuff, and like Shady himself's kind of not being used, but he's being watched by his own people and stuff. Did I not do one? Oh, I did one at the house too. I didn't. I in Massapequa in the basement that I kind of liked. Wasn't it like a Shady end where because I'm gonna get emotional. That one from an emotional standpoint, just because I was leaving the house, kind of. It was the last one I filmed there, and shit. And I really did enjoy filming in that basement and the house in general. So that was kind of nice from an emotional standpoint. It's probably the Soul Collector one, but I do like even the kind of robot repair type ones are alright. Although I don't know if I've done those with Shady or not, or they're their own thing. I get mixed up sometimes with them, but it's probably definitely the Soul Collector one, just because it was what I've always kind of been interested in, kind of doing like that, and then those coins kind of added to it. And I can't wait to do the next one on that. Probably that one, and then the last one I did in the house from like an emotional standpoint. Like I said, I forget a lot of the ones I do. Like I kind of know them. I kind of remember doing things, but I can't remember kind of what they were called. But thank you for the questions. Ethan Yosh asks, what's your best guess on my life life exists. Let's see something. And then he says, I'm going to mispronounce some of these words. Also extrapolating into the future, as you and many probably know from Elon Musk, video games will almost definitely become indistinguishable from reality, which is true. After trying VR, has any of your beliefs changed? Have any of your beliefs about what reality has changed? I honestly don't know why life exists. I get weird thoughts, and I think a lot of people do maybe at night, where like death scares the shit out of me, but being alive forever scares the shit out of me. And sometimes I'm like, what the fuck is life? Like I'm like, did aliens put us here? Are we their experiment? Like, is it even fucking real? You know, I'm like amazed by like anything like the way like internet through Wi-Fi works. Like, still, I'm like, how is it even fucking possible? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, none of that shit makes sense to me. I don't know. You know, life in general is just so complicated and ridiculous, and you start thinking about weird shit, and you're like, or it just all just happened from evolution, and we're lucky enough to exist at all, you know. But I'll think about weird shit before going to sleep like that, and start bugging myself out. I feel like everybody does that like at night. I'm like, what's death? Oh God. You know, what if you were alive forever and it's just, oh my God. Like, I think of like standing outside in space and just seeing everything forever, and just like, how is this even real? What the hell? But I couldn't even have a guess. I guess it just exists because it does, and that's just how it's played out over years, millions of billions of years of evolution, or we were put here by aliens. And when they're experimenting, that's why they abduct us from time to time, just to see how the experiment's going. They see how badly we can fuck everything up, every species, ourselves, and whatever else we can do. We do good stuff too. Humans are great and terrible at the same time. And after trying VR, has any of your beliefs about what reality is changed? I mean, it's kind of funny when you put that headset on and I'll play like Resident Evil for like 40 minutes. You come out of it and you really do feel like you're like leaving. You're like, time to go to this now. This existence I'm going to. Like, VR is like a new existence. And it's kind of enjoyable from that front. Really hasn't changed any beliefs on it. I think it's just the fact that we're now going to be able to, you know, soon put ourselves in virtual worlds completely. You know, I think they've done movies about that, right? And it's going to get even wilder. Yeah, there's one where people just like fucking sit in fucking chairs all day. What the fuck movie was that? And they just go into an altered reality. People will do that. I think they'll get addicted to it. I can see VR being addicting, especially when it gets more comfortable. Because I'll admit, I like to take the headset off after a while because I'm like, I start to get a little sick. But people are going to start getting addicted to that shit once it's to the point where you can, like, a full virtual reality thing where you're just fucking full-on world and you don't want to leave it because it's so much better than the real world. I guess it hasn't really changed much. It will change things. It hasn't changed any of my beliefs yet, at least. It might. But thank you for the questions. Okay. Kills asks, have you ever had a paranormal experience before? If so, what was it? Never had one. I know people have had them. My fiance has apparently been in haunted houses before. That's with other people I know as well have talked about it. I've heard things from time to time, but it's probably all explainable. Kind of love to have one. You know, when a lot of people say, ghosts and that shit aren't real, it's like that many people cannot be full of shit that have said they've experienced something, and that's what I always say. I'm like, there's no way that many people are lying, you know. But I've never had an experience myself. I kind of like to, but I haven't yet. But I've heard plenty of stories from other people as well, so I can kind of relate one of those that I always found a little creepy, but I think they had said, this is someone I knew like 10, 15 years ago, I think they said their grandmother had died, and they were all hanging out, and her seat where she sat on the couch was empty, and then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, like, it imprinted down, like someone sat on it, and everybody was like, what the fuck? And they started flipping out. But yeah, that was a pretty good one that I heard. But no, I have not had any of my own experiences. But thank you for the question. All Day GJ asks if there was any new game you wish could be made, what would it be? A new original idea or a sequel to something you love? I remember in another video I talked about an original idea, and I was like, oh, I love like a paranormal type game where you're doing all this shit. And then like people are like, oh, this game exists. And then I was on Steam. I was like, holy shit, there's like thousands of these paranormal games. In terms of, so honestly, I'd almost love like an open world, and they have tons of these too, even in VR. Just like a full-on like walking around trying to find shit with like a metal detector simulator and finding treasures would be kind of fun. Just exploring constantly, like Skyrim, except you're not into fights, you're just exploring constantly. Would be cool. In terms of sequels, I'd love to see a sequel, a third Stuntman game. I love the fucking Stuntman games, and I would fucking want a third Condemned so bad, and it will never come out. I would love to see Condemned 3. I love the first two Condemned games. They're so fucking good, and I would love to see another one, but I don't think it's gonna be made. They were so creepy and good. I love those games. Fuck. And Stuntman, because I love the Stuntman games. Those are the two sequels I'd like to see. I'm trying to think of something else. And those are games that only have 2 in the series. I could say, like, oh, I'd love to see another Fatal Frame or something, but there's so many of them already. I'm trying to think of another game that kind of only got 1. I don't know. I'm trying to think here on the fly of a game that only had 1 come out that I liked and never got a second. I don't know. I mean, in general, I'd love to see a lot of kind of sequels and them do more with things, but I'd love to see another Manhunt. There's only been 2 of those. I'd love to see another fucking Manhunt. Even State of Emergency would be cool to see another one of those. Yeah, I'll say those games for now. But thank you for your question. Tyson asks, first question, what was your favorite moment as a teen? I don't even know. You know what's fucked up? I don't know. It would have to be before 12th grade. And like I said, I even had anxiety back, before then too. So I would stay away from a lot of things that moments would happen in. But I had a lot of stuff, it's just like basic shit, just hanging out with my friends at the fucking high school field at night, getting drunk or whatever, and those aren't even really moments. I mean, they're moments, but I don't have like a lot of standout. It's kind of sad, maybe, but standout moments. I have a lot of enjoyable moments just doing like regular things, like going to like Van Halen was really cool. My first concert, that was really cool. I believe I was 15 when that happened. That was really cool. I had a good time as a teen, even though I was bad with anxiety. It was terrible. Like I said, I've talked about this in other videos where it affected school and me going to school and stuff. I don't have like a bunch of straight up. You could always say like your first kiss or some shit, but which was nice. But I don't have it done. I don't have it done really. I was kind of sad. And then he asks, "What was your favorite job as a teen, if you had one?" And he says, "Keep up the great videos." My first job, it was the same thing. I mentioned that in the other one actually. The the question. It was a place called Len's Bagels in Massapequa. It was 3 hours a day, $5 an hour. It was just cleaning up the back of the bagel shop and cleaning all the things and the vats and the dishes and the ovens and shit like that. It was very basic. I was there not super long, but it was just like I said, it was 3 hours a day, like 3 days a week. And then Toys R Us came not that long after. I was 16 with the bagel shop job. I think they were 15 or 16. 16, I think. And then, like I said, it was Toys R Us not too long after that as well. I was definitely still in my teens. But yeah, that was my first job at the bagel place, which is long gone. I think it's like a healthy meals type store now or some shit. But thank you for your questions. No, actually, as a teen, actually, I would say, was I a teenager? Yeah, I think I was still. When we won our Costa Little League baseball title, that was fun. I made a nice catch in the outfield on a friend, hit a ball. I made a nice catch. It was actually a friend was on the opposing team. That was kind of nice. I had a lot of cool moments. I did enjoy a lot of stuff, but I can't think of anything stand out because I'd be keeping myself away from positions where something like that would even happen. That's what anxiety does to you, I guess. But thank you for the questions. Jake the Panda asks, if you could add 3 gaming-related things into your setup, what would it be? Example, TV, monitor, specific consoles, accessories like controllers, games, anything. 3 things. I like the TV I have. I do need a headset with a mic in front so I can record audio when I'm doing those VR gameplays. I have mics, but I have a little headset that I have, but I have to like hold in the mic and stuff. That's not gonna work. A specific console, I'd love to maybe have my TurboGrafx again, but they're expensive now. I wouldn't mind a Commodore 64 as well. You know, I wouldn't mind like a gaming chair. I know people have those like specific gaming chairs. They're kind of cool. Nothing really on the accessory front. I wouldn't mind having a TurboGrafx 16 again, though, man. Fuck. I told the story about that. I don't want to tell it again. I had mine and I got rid of it in like 2006, and it was a fucking mistake. That's all I'll say. Probably my biggest game regret. I'd love to have just in general, like if we ever get a house, like a game room, and have all my games on shelves and systems, and just dedicated to like gaming and shit. I see a lot of those on YouTube. I used to watch them back in the day when I first started YouTube in 2009, and I always loved it. I'd love to have like even a small area in a room just with fucking games. Would be fucking awesome. It'd be cool to have like, you know, TV set up with these consoles, TV set up with those consoles kind of thing as well. But I'm not huge on the accessories. It'd be cool to have like a huge, like a serious, like Alienware type gaming PC would be kind of fucking cool as well. To have it also. But definitely a TurboGrafx 16 in terms of consoles. That's as, you know, as specific as I'm, you know, because not a lot of people like TurboGrafx 16 didn't sell well either. But people who had it remember it or even play it now know it was a really cool system. And there's plenty of games I'd love to have, you know. Especially in the survival horror front ones I never got to play, like Haunting Ground and shit that are super expensive for Rule of Rose. That I'm not gonna spend $300 on. I'd love to have my full collection of Super Nintendo games that I had as a kid, but that would be costly. But yeah. Thank you for the question. If I had to say 3, it would be the TurboGrafx 16. I'm like just spouting TurboGrafx 16, like a Haunting Ground video game, and like a serious like Alienware fucking type PC for gaming that just is like, you know. Because when it comes to accessories and stuff, I'm not huge on like a gaming chair would be cool too, like those sick gaming chairs I see. Well, thank you for the question. Jeff Stanley asks, what do you think is a better name for me, Jeff from HR or Jeff from accounting? I do neither of those things, but it makes me seem more important to my fellow human species. You can always call an audible and call me whatever you think would fit me. I kind of like Jeff from accounting, to be honest with you. I feel like that's something you just say, like, oh, that's Jeff from accounting, you know? Jeff from HR is a little more specific. Deal with a little more shit, although you're dealing with a lot of shit. Accounting. That's my buddy Jeff from accounting. You know? It's like people from accounting. I feel like you hear from accounting more than from HR. Yeah, Jeff from accounting sounds good, right? And you don't have to do it. You expect that they're from accounting. No one's going to question it. Yeah, who's going to question that? Unless, of course, all of a sudden you know someone that wants their taxes done, and they're like, yo, can you get in contact from Jeff from accounting? You'd be like, oh. And then when they ask that big, oh, they're from Jeff from HR now. But yeah, thanks for the question. I think that's all of them, but let me look and see if I missed any. I'm going to go back down them. I think I got all of them. If I did happen to miss any or I didn't see one, it didn't pop up because some comments are disappearing, please let me know and I will answer it in a ramble or something. But thanks everybody for the questions, for sure. Always love answering questions that you guys have. And thanks for checking us out. And have a good day.